The next V-arm lock attack we're going to do comes from Keizagatami. And usually I'm here in this position. A couple ways I can get the arm free here. Number one is if I can punch, I just punch his face, his arm comes out, and then I push it straight down. I'm going to place it under my leg. To secure this position, you're better off figure fouring. Hold the back of his head and lift. Okay, a few different positions that we use here, because number one, he can wipe this. If this is too loose, he can wipe it off his head. So judo, we'll take it here, or this way. Kali, sometimes in this position, we'll put the elbows on the sternum bone and pull it up like this. So from this position, I have it here. I want to get the arm, so I could punch his face. Number two is I'll take this and I will bring his elbow and his head together as much as I possibly can. He'll straighten his arm out, and then I use that to stiff arm and bring it underneath. Third variation is very sneaky, and it has to do with his throat. So what I'll do here is I've got it and I wiggle my fingers in his throat here. See, the arm comes out, stiff arm it, bring it underneath. Figure four your leg so it can't come loose. Grab this and lay back. Okay. The second way that I like to take this arm is because sometimes when you get it here, the person's really flexible and they don't feel this. So what you do is you put two hands on their tricep and slide this knee to the floor and lay forward. This works on everybody. And if it doesn't, the guy doesn't have a shoulder socket. Because there are some people who have a real flexible elbow and some people have a real flexible shoulder. So one of the two are bound to give out when you do this. Okay? Again, so I have this position. I'm going to either hit him, I'm going to wind it, or I'm going to finger his throat. His arm comes out. I stiff arm. Now again, I don't want to bend your arm. If I bend, resist. If I resist versus his resistance, it's my tricep and my shoulder versus his. But if I take this and I bring my arm back and straighten it, okay, push my face up, look at my body weight. It's just, the stiff arm is just too strong. So again, I keep a stiff arm and I bring it down. And now I bring it here, grab the hands, link them, bring it here, or this way spine, this way, or this way. You can collie, okay, or the last one is slide it forward. Okay. Again, this is from Keizagatami. Now, the Keizagatami could come when you're on knees. We start out here, and I wind them down from right here. I punch them, or I start to crank it. That arm comes out, stiff arm it, and variations. So this is V-arm lock from Keizagatami. In Keizagatami here, sometimes, as soon as I get the position, I'll get bridged over, so I'm going to add the same attack, except from overturned position. I have him, he grabs his wrists, he bridges me over the top. See where I'm at now? Now, I'm just going to hold his head here. And what's going to happen is he's going to try to post that arm because I'm going to try to roll to a post. Now what I'll do is I'll take this arm and I'll bridge it and put it under here. And I'll bring it under my leg the same way and just pull his head in the same direction and V-arm lock. Again. So this is kind of a sneaky technique, and it's, for me, it's kind of a last resort. I should be defending, but some people actually give you that arm, and sometimes it's easy to get this one. So if he grabs, he bridges me, hold the head. Normally, I would get arm locked in this position, but I'm going to continue to hold his head. If he starts to come up, hold the head down. Now look at this arm. You're going to take the arm here, and you're going to place it down between your legs, and from right here, just pull the head up, or grab the tricep and pull. So it's the same exact lock, except it's overturned. Okay, again. He bridges me. Right off the bat, I do the same exact lock. So this is a reversal from Keizagatami. Now this is a V-arm lock attack from north and south position. So if I'm in this position and I get right here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch his head. I'm going to keep this nice and tight. I'm going to bring my hand across and keep this tight, bring it across, using my shoulder and my head, bringing the arm across the body. So anytime I go to north and south, if I pass his guard, look at where I go and I block his hips and I come to this position. Once I'm here, I'm going to take and use his shoulder. If his arm straightens out, I wouldn't do this one, I would do a different lock. It's when that arm's bent. So sometimes I'm going to try to take the arm here and he starts to bend it. Perfect. That's the best time to do this lock. This is a bent V-arm lock. Okay, and this is just bending and bringing it in. Okay, from a different position here. This here. Good. So I'm here. I start to pass guard. I pass. I go to cross body north to south. Okay, look where I'm at right here. Now right from here, I try to start pulling this arm up, but he brings it back down. I pinch his head. I just keep it nice and tight and just bring it across the body. Same thing on the other arm. Bring it across the body. Bring this across the body. And what happens, you'll straighten that arm out, you straight arm lock it, or cut it into a chicken wing. So, from this position, once I'm here, I get the underhook. Get the underhook. I'm going to try to bring this across his body. Okay, he'll start to bring his elbow back as much as he can. There's your straight arm lock. If it bends the other way, you have your chicken wing. If it bends the other way, you just keep it nice and tight. You got to control his head so he can't spin out. And this is your V-arm lock from north and south. On the bottom, I'm going to try to take his side, but I can't quite take it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get to his side. I'm going to try to either straight or V-arm lock him. If I can, I'm going to take his back. So what happens here is I try to arm drag and take his back here. I'm going to keep this as tight as I can on the side, get my knee up as tight as I can. He's not going to allow me to take his back because he's going to keep squaring up with me. Okay? So what I need to do is stay on his side and keep this tight. The V-arm lock here is I'm going to hold his elbow and hold his arm and keep this knee down and just bend his arm here. If he straightens it out, I've got a straight arm lock from here. So the key in this position, again, is to drag and take his back. I want to try to take his back. He's not going to allow me. So look what I've got. I'm going to just hold this nice and tight and look at the arm lock. It's a bent arm lock. Okay. Again, so we're here. Okay. I start to drag his arm across. Try to take his back. He squares. So from here, I just hold it, hold this, and crank it here. Again, take his side, try to take his back. It's not going to work. Use this, hold the elbow. And the key here is that this knee is tight. Otherwise, you can lift up. Lift up, no good. Keep that knee nice and tight. Keep this down. So the key on this is I want to kind of control this. You can do it two ways, this way or this way. Keep it nice and tight, keep it pinched. You're bringing it out. If he straightens that thing out, you're already going into the arm lock. Arm lock attack from here. Okay. So, from this position again, I'm here, I arm drag him, I shock out, take the side. He starts to square up. I keep this tight, I hold it, and side crank it. Drag it, come up to here. Okay, another way is right here. Or from right here, he pulls it down and I squeeze this here. Same lock. From here, he lifts up. Okay, I hold his wrists. Controlling. I try to drag him, bring him down. He lifts up, brings his arm in, and just squeeze it right here. Drag this to the side. I come up, keep it tight, hold it, squeeze it, and lock it from here. Okay. Again, it's not the lift, it's the slide down and holding the shoulder and pulling it backwards. V-arm lock from side mount position. Okay, this is another variation of the same lock, just ways to hold the hands. So, in the guard here. Sometimes when you're taking this position, if your knees are tight, you can hold this and really bring it back and out. So I'm going to straighten it out, I'm going to bring it in. But this one, you might have more success with when you hold, just hold the lat, grab this arm and hold it tight to your chest. Okay, and slowly start kicking this leg out as you back bridge. Okay, you're going to back bridge into this arm lock here. So the same way here as I arm drag this past. I get up to his side, I hold his back. I take my left foot, I kick his leg as I back bridge here. And arm lock, V arm lock from the side. Hold, arm drag, take his side. Keep it here, keep it nice and tight, hold his lat. See I'm kicking this down and his arm's going to be bent and pulling in. Now you just back bridge. If his arm straightens, then it's easier for you to go into your arm lock attack. He doesn't want to straighten it, he'll be pulling it back. He'll pull his arm back as much as he can, and that's when I hip into it. Okay. Okay, from this position we call Kazuri Keizik, over and under grip. A lot of times I will lift my head up, so there's a couple ways. I'll either hold it like this, or I'll hold it like this. What I want him to do is I want him to push my face. That's what I want. Because as soon as I'm here, and he starts to push my face, that's when I rotate and the arm lock. Okay. Another way is if I start to hit his neck here, he starts to defend, I'm going to take this and slam it down the same way and pop it. Okay. So again, if I'm holding here and he's going to try to get his arm out, that's the best time for me to take it. Okay. Sorry about that hit. Second one is I'm here, he starts to reach up. I just rotate my hips down and hit it. And right here, I just rotate. That arm starts to come up. I just keep this here. And I'm going to slam my hips on the floor. And as I do that, I'm going to hit and slide this down and look up in the direction that I'm locking his arm. His arm starts to come out. Okay. Very similar. Crossbody, he's got my neck. Okay, he's grabbing his hands. I know he's going to bridge me. Most people get ready to bridge from here. So what I do, I've got to break this grip. How do I break it? I bring my forearm down across his face and I forearm his throat. Now, these three fingers are going to grab, and I'm going to put all my body weight down. Down. He's holding my neck from right here. I forearm his throat. Bring it down in and up. Pull this down, body weight, and slide. Okay? So anytime, even if he's not holding my neck, his arm's here, but he's got control. Okay? What I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring it up and get the underhook. This is the underhook on the arm. I grab this, and notice, watch how I pull this in and drive my shoulder to the ground. Now I get the figure four, and I slide it down and up. Again, he's got it, grabs my neck tight, break the grip, pull this down, look at the body weight, slide it down and up. That's your V-arm lock attack from crossbody when he's holding your neck. These are straight arm lock attacks from all different positions. We're going to start out with the mount position, and then we're going to work around the body. Every position, every movement should lead to the arm lock. In judo, they say you'll have everything that leads into the arm lock. The arm lock is your final attack that you're going to use to finish the person. The first one I'm going to use here, just for training, is he's going to place his arm up, and I'm going to take 2 hands on his chest. This is just to teach you how to spin and move on his arm. So when he does this, I'm just going to post and spin to arm lock. I'm going to kick off and come back to the other side. He pins. Notice my weight goes here. I spin up and I hook it, and then I come back up. I go here, hook, come back, and push, hook, come back up. Okay, that's the first one. The second one I'm going to do now is from the mount position. I'm going to fake like I'm going to V-arm lock. So I'm going to take this arm, and I'm going to figure four it. So from right here, I'm going to take this, I'm going to figure four. See his arms are up? I'm going to grab his wrist, grab here, figure four, and push it outwards. As I do this, he's going to push it back. Then I bring it across and arm lock. Come back up. Take this, figure four it, push it out. He's going to bring it back across, and arm lock. Come back up. Take the arm, figure four it. Push it outwards. He pulls it back. Look how I'm pushing it past center line. The key on this is his elbow. Push, he pulls, and hook it back. Come back up. The arm lock, pulls it, bring it across, and come back. This one, the arm, pull it out, and come back up. Okay. The next one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop his elbow up. As I scoop his elbow up, I'm going to pull him straight up in the air, put my hand across his face to turn his body, and spin arm lock. So I come here, I pull and push, same time. So I grab the elbow, I pull and push, and arm lock. Come back up. I reach across, pull and push. Then my leg comes up, leg comes around. I usually grab both hands and then come up. Come back up. I'm going to take the hand, take the elbow, pull and push. Notice my leg comes up and I reach and kick over. Come back up. Last one from here is I'm going to V-arm lock. As I V-arm lock, he turns his body to counter, just like that. Perfect. So it's a bow and arrow method. So I go push, pull, okay. Push, pull. Okay, same thing here, push, pull. So as I do this, I push this, and as I take it, I go to go. He's going to reach over and grab. So, whoop, go. Arm lock, come back up. V-arm, he reaches up, hook, pull off, come back up. V-arm, see, he rotates, my bottom arm grabs. My leg comes up and loop over. Climb and squeeze. Bring it up. V-arm lock, he hooks it. Squeeze. Come back up. Notice I'm switching my hands. Okay. The key on this is that you're ready when you start to lock it, that he rotates. You're rotating with him and already attacking or attacking. If I push this down, okay, hooking. The key here to prevent him from rolling back would be the offset of his face. And hooking the arm and climbing to the top. Okay. Hook your arm here, or depends. Now, if I go here and I get it to here, he reaches up here. My right hand comes in. Okay, he's going to grab his wrist, like that. If he reaches up the other way as he was doing, I go like this, reaches up and grabs. I'll take the top hand and use it. So it really doesn't matter either way. The key is that your leg slides over the head and pull that opposite shoulder and elbow. Okay, and pull that up and control this. Okay. Straightens his arm, keeps his other hand on his chest. One. Again, other side. Number 2 is V-arm, he straightens it. Straight arm. V-arm. Straight arm. V-arm. Okay. Straight arm. V-arm. Straight arm. Hook and pull. Hook and pull. V-arm. Straight arm attack. These are your 4 drill attacks from the mount for straight arm lock. The next attack is straight arm lock from Gatami, scarp hold. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hold him, and as soon as that arm, I start to finger the throat, I start to hit him, I start to fist choke him, that arm starts to come down. Look at this, straighten it out. Keep your leg here, hold the shoulder down. Now look at his shoulder. Okay? You don't have a lock here. But you do if you pin it, okay? One more time. So from right here, I have this position, and I want to get this arm free, so I might go like this and start to crank this up. He straightens it out, I use my forearm. Catch it, keep it here, and straighten it out here. If he bends his arm this way, just lift it and keep it pinched, and you can arm lock it. Notice his shoulder moves, pin that shoulder. Good. Again, finger the throat. Catch it, straight arm lock. Punch a face, catch it, straight arm lock. Bends his arm, keep it this way. Good. Again, from right here, you've got it. Okay, now if his arm goes straight here and I catch it this way, sometimes I can place this leg on top and figure 4 it this way for the straight arm. If his shoulder lifts, this one doesn't matter because look at it. Okay, so sometimes if I go for the V-arm, straightens his arm out, I put my leg over and just take it here. This is your figure 4, straight arm lock. If I push it here and get this leg over, you've got to keep this real tight because it'll come out and push the shoulder down. If he turns it that way, you're going to just do it this way. Okay? Again, 3 ways to release this arm. Finger in the throat, pull this up, or keep all the weight and start lifting up on him. When that arm comes out like that, that's the best time to stiffen it out. Okay, if it's up, you bring your other leg over the top. That's your top leg. Bring your top leg over. Straight arm lock. If it's sideways, bring your low leg over and bring it here. If you're working Dumog, you were tight and you want to pop it, what you'll do is you'll take it here and bring the fulcrum right here and push it over the top one. What happens, he'll resist. He'll start to pull his arm up and resist it, bend your arm. He'll try to bend and then pop it here. So from right here sometimes, the same thing, if I can get a hold of it, I'll lift it and I'll start to crank it here and then pop it on this one. Pop, pop. So high fulcrum, low fulcrum. Control, pressure lock 2, and then pressure lock 3. These are Gatami straight arm lock attacks. We're going to attack the arm lock from the crossbody. The key on this, to get this arm, is always to get this underhook. I need to establish this underhook. So a few ways. One is he grabs my back, I weave this through, then I bring it here. If he naturally already grabs me in this position, around my neck, I've already got the lock. I've already got the attack. I want that. I want this arm. So I keep it nice and tight. The second way, again, like I said, his arm's around my body, And I'm just going to take this and leave it through. If it's really tight, I probably can't do that, so I might have to switch and peel it off here. And now underhook it from here. The other way is I would jump my knee up to his belly and he starts to push and I pick it up from here. Now I have the underhook. Now when I underhook here, I'm going to try to take this lock. So what I want to do right now for the arm lock, this is actually a spinning arm lock. So I'm going to hold this, I'm going to bring my forearm to his chest. I'm going to step and pop up. So from crossbody, my hips are going to go down and come up. I'm going to step across and spin and arm lock. So you can see it from the other way. From here, I go elbow. I can push his head or pull his head or push his shoulder. So I can pull his head, push his head, or push his shoulder. And I'm going to do, as I do this, I'm going to pop up and step and spin an arm. I'm going to come back up. Notice when I'm doing this, I'm not extending his arm all the way. Reason being is I don't want to give him tendonitis, because you got to figure to get good at this, you got to rep this out, high reps. For high reps, which would be what, maybe 100 to 500 arm locks, if I lock his arm 500 times in a row or 100 times in a row, he's going to get acute tendonitis in the elbow. And what's going to happen is he's going to be really sore. He's not going to be able to train. So I got to make sure that when I do it, I'm really regarding his safety and his longevity as far as saving him as my training partner. So don't lock the arm all the way out. Okay. So from right here, I'm going to take my elbow. I'm going to bring it up into his chest plate. All my body weight would stay on, listen to this. Okay, all my body weight will stay on him. The other way is you can pop up to your feet, just like that. Preference would be for me to keep my weight on him and pop up to my knee. That way I can step over and keep it really tight. Now the placement of that foot is really important, because when he turns, this is how I'm going to keep everything nice and tight. If I'm too tight to him, it's not good, so I want to be about 3 inches away from him. So when he rolls backwards, look at where my shin is, and it's nice and tight. Come back. Underhook, stuff his head, spin. Underhook, pick him up, step and spin, come up. Underhook. Okay, from here, pop up to your feet. See how much slower that is? Make sure your knees are squeezed tight. Again, in the crossbody, you can choose and pick a few arm locks that you're going to get good at. The key isn't to have too many, because if you do, then sometimes you get confused. If you're real good at 1 or 2 attacks, you're pretty much going to take these arm locks as much or as many times as you possibly can. So by having too many things that you're half good at, why don't you choose just a few that you're really good at, and that will be your game. Okay, so on this one, it's the same thing. If I'm here and they start to pull this down, look at where the arm goes, so I just hold it and I figure 4 it. Okay. Even here, if I get a hold of the wrist, he straightens his arm out, I'm going to take it here. So the first one is I'm just going to figure 4 and keep this here. Look at his shoulder will lift. See how his shoulder lifts? Keep your armpit above his shoulder and then figure 4 it. Okay. So, however, whatever your entry is here, if I go like that, look how he's straightening it. You can't. This is hard for. Supposed to bend your arm a little. You can't pretty much lock it from here, only if I come under the elbow and start to straighten it here. That might be a little easier, but he's going to turn it a little bit. Turn your arm, turn it the other way. So this is actually easier with your bottom hand closest to his foot on top, and I'm just going to take it right here. Okay. So however you grab it, your straight arm lock would be here. Now if I go for a chicken wing, the same thing from here. I slide over his elbow and I arm lock it here. So if I go here, maybe it's not working, I bring this over down to the elbow and now I arm lock it this way. So look how much lower I go from his shoulder to his elbow, and I lock it here. From here, he's got my neck. I pull it out. Look, I can switch my hands. See where the arm goes? Or from right here. Or reach in, deep, figure 4, and lock it. Okay. And if I go here, he straightens it out. That's when I might pick it up. See, this is a straight arm lock right here. Or here. Or spin to here. Spinning arm lock or straight arm lock from crossbody. In the guard positions, there are many, many ways to take the arm lock. We're just going to take 3 basic ways that we can use that we could probably catch most people with if we get really good at them. So these are a few ways we're going to attack the arm lock from the guard. The key here is controlling the elbows or the wrists. Okay, so your basic attack we just start out with is just to develop your hip movement. Your hips got to slide off center. You never want to just try to do this to arm lock. The only time you'll do that is if he reaches up for my head and I pull his head down. This is one of the only times you're going to start to try to take this. If the guy's any good or strong, you're not going to catch his arms here. But if he starts to cinch gets his legs in and starts to get up like he is, now this is easier for me to work my spin to take the lock. So some people, they start to reach in the guard. Just maybe they don't know how to pass the guard. They don't understand that you have to sit back to pass the legs. So some people will actually start to punch, or they'll sit forward into you like this, or their arms will be bent and they'll be grabbing up at your head and stuff like this. A lot of people don't have jiu-jitsu training, Brazilian jiu-jitsu training, and learn how to open the legs. So they'll grab your head or do whatever they can here. So from this position, I would hold his head down, cross over his shoulders, and open these up backward as I squeeze my legs forward. Okay, just like that. Now to arm lock from here, I hook and hold his elbow. I bring my hand underneath his leg. Look at my leg, how tight that is. Loop this over. And now the tighter my legs are, the easier this is for me to lock him. If my legs are loose, look how much pressure I need. If my legs are tight, look at I just need a finger and my hips. So the loop is just going to go whoop, and this leg's got to be high on his back. Okay, again, he grabs, I pull his head down, I reach over, I hip up. I reach under here, I keep this leg tight, and this loops over extremely tight, and I start to hip up. Okay, if he stacks me, puts all my weight into my neck, I cross my feet, I open my legs as much as I possibly can, and arm lock him from here. Or I will rotate over my shoulder and finish the lock on the other side. That's because I got stacked. Okay. Bring it up, keep it up, bridge. He stacks me, cross my feet, open, and lock here. So I'm opening, offsetting his head. He still stacks me. I rotate through the bottom and arm lock him on this side with my legs extremely tight. Next attack we're going to do from the guard is called spinning arm lock. This teaches me how to move my hips and spin from side to side. From right here, I'm going to control his elbows. I'm going to reach under his legs. And as I do it, just spin and keep my legs over. And right from here, I'm going to just keep it up. Notice my whole body moves here. And then at the last one, hips up, lock, or sweep and lock. He comes back up, sweep, lock, come back up. Sweep, lock, he wipe it off, comes back up. sweep, lock, wipes it off, comes back up. This is breaking the arm lock down. Now what I'm going to do here is, when he's sitting up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the wrist, I'm going to grab the elbow, I'm going to bring it across center line. So I'm going to bring it across center line, and as I do that, if I just bring his wrist, he can leave his elbow back. But by pulling his elbow, I've got his whole arm. So this is 1. Number 2 is I grab his trapezius. 2. Number 3 is foot on the hip. 4, 5, and 6. Come back off. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. This is so if he lifts his head up, I hold it. If he puts his head down, I push it. Loop it, and hip up. Go back. Then we break it down to the 5 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we just go to a 2 count if we could do it. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And that's how you're going to break this down. Okay? This can also start from what we call the crooked guard. And what I'll do is I'll take this, I'll pull it across center line. I'll hold his head from right here. I walk my left leg over and I go from here. Notice how tight this is. Pull your arm up. Pull that. Okay, so what I'll do here is just hold and then loop my leg and arm lock. Come back. I will cross and pull his head down. Okay, from here. My right foot will come up over his shoulder, stays tight on his back. We call crooked guard because it's crooked. Pull your arm up. It's real tight. Hook and then loop it real tight. Okay. Again, bring it across and bring his head down. So you start out, you go right here. Foot comes over the top of the shoulder. Notice his foot stays high on his back. From right here, just loop it and bring it over. From this side. Cross, or pull his head down this way. This way he can pull his head up sometimes. Pull it fast. Okay, again, fast. Okay, this way, fast. Again, fast. So sometimes when I'm here, I start to take this arm and I pull his head down. Pull your head up. It's better, it's more solid because I hold the top of his head. Foot up, over, tight. That's your attack position. I'm already halfway to my arm lock. All I have to do is loop my leg. Push and loop. Oh, arm lock. Other side, pull, legs up, and watch this. It's all based on your legs. 1, lift this over, and then just loop it over with your legs. 1 finger. Okay. This is called the crooked guard attack. This is a reverse arm lock from the guard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to create an underhook. Once I can get this underhook, what I'm going to try to do is pull this up as high as I can. Slide up and get my knee on his shoulder. Pull this in as tight as I can. So, let's say he's sitting up in my guard. Okay, what I'll do is I'll break these down this way. Once I can create this position and pinch this arm, I'll use my foot or if his knee's up high, I'll use my hamstring to shuck him if my foot's up high, I'll get it on his hip. And I'll put it up and I'll bring this up and climb this and squeeze and reverse arm lock here. Okay. So sometimes here, I'll just reach this up and I'll rip it up to here. Keep this tight, squeeze it as tight as I can, and use my head, and I'll rotate the elbow, or I'll use my bone and rotate this in. The key is to keep his head down. So if he starts to reach, this is even better. I just hold it back, head back, and start to push and keep this one nice and tight. If the arm comes up, I'm up on his back. I'll start to come up to his back. Okay. So this will be from a full foot, nice and tight, squeeze. Okay. The same lock here would come from this position. Now sometimes I have an underhook and I have head control. What I'm going to do is try to pull him up over my head and he'll post. That's what I want right from here, the same thing. I'll keep it here. So this is from a butterfly position from here, and I have the control. So I'll stay here. I'll try to really pull him up high, and I'll look at the arm. I'll usually kick this one out and look at the arm lock. From right here, I have the underhook. Or I'll have the bot position. I'm going to really pull him up. So he posts. Now, this is easier for me to start to kick this and work my arm lock. Another way, he grabs my head. So I lift my head up and I kick this leg out and use it from here. Okay, when I'm in his guard, I'm going to be controlling. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lure him to underhook my leg. So I'll go like this, because I want him to go under my leg. As soon as he goes under, I put my leg down, I bring this hand underneath, I post my head on the floor, and I pull his arm up. Again, he's from here. I control, I lift my leg. I want him to underhook my leg, because he'll try to start to spin. Like that. Good. That's what I want. So from right here, I lift my leg up, I put my leg down. I reach this hand underneath here. I place my head on the floor, or post it on his shoulder, and just lift his elbow up. Just lift it up. Or head down, hand lift. Okay? One more time. Keep it tight so he can't roll his arm. You don't want him to roll it. Good. Reach this underneath. Grab this tight and just pull this in sideways. Okay, arm lock in top position. Okay, this next position here is from the back. It's because I had a choke on, but maybe he defended it pretty well. So from right here, maybe I was in this position and he defended his neck. So what I'm going to do here now is keep this, I'm going to push, and I'm just going to loop my arm and just come up to this position to arm lock. I'm going to come back. Okay, so this drill now, okay, I'm in the choke position. I've got wrist and neck control. He starts to defend his neck. From right here, I'm going to take my left foot, goes to his hip. This comes across, loops my leg over, and push his head, and come up to cut his head down and arm lock. Come back up. Control, push, loop, arm lock, come back. Okay, so now for the drill, I'm just going to hold. And all I'm going to do is just practice my spin. Spin one, bring him up. Come up. Two, back up. Three, back up. Four, back up. Five. Six. Okay, so that's your drill. That's because he's defending, so I grab the wrist to control. I'm gonna, now from here, let's say he's got his hand inside, I'll pull his head off and push it to take the lock and come back. Okay, a little more advanced version now. I'm taking that arm, we're gonna rip it, so I control it. Let's say he's here, okay? What I'm gonna do from right here is I'm gonna take this arm, instead of taking it here, I'm gonna reach it over and straighten it out, right here. He knows I've got it, But all I do is just flick this off, open, and keep it to here. Notice all the pressure I have on his arm. He's gonna grab his hands, he's got to. Now, the key on this, straighten your leg, is to keep his shoulder away from his body, like this, as much as you can. Now, what I'm gonna do from right here, I've gotta keep this nice and tight, is I'm gonna start to bring this in, and bring it up to here. Reach up, pull the elbow, keep it, resist. Keep this here, pull this up, straighten this out, and bite the back of his shoulder. Now this is easier for me to rip the arm out, and much tighter, and come back up. Okay? This attack I got from Billy Cusack, who's a top judo coach and player in Scotland, and he's got a top judo team that competes all over the world, and he's notorious for his arm lock, so this attack I got from him. So again, from here, you're controlling, you figure 4 this as tight as you can, you're straightening that out, pull your arm up. It's really tight. Now, I loop this, and I cut his head, and I put his head on the floor. Look at all the pressure on his arm. Okay, from right here, I'm gonna keep this tight, I'm gonna keep it tight here, and reach up and pull this, and start to cut this in. Okay, as I'm doing this. Now I cut this leg all the way through and pull it in tight. Cross my feet, hook this tight, and bring it all the way up, and then bring it all the way down. Okay, and if I squeeze it tight like I should, where do you feel that? Shoulder. In his shoulder, not in his arm, because all the pressure's in his shoulder. Okay, again. So from right here, I'm on his back, I reach over and figure 4. Keep it here. Loop this over, all the way over, offset his head, keep it tight. Sit up, hook this up, keep it tight. Pull, kick that out, pull it in tight. Look at his arms, look how tight they are. Grab deep, don't let me have your arm. Okay, so I'm gonna pull, I'm gonna loop it, keep it tight. Now watch how easy this is. See the locks on, it's extremely tight. Okay. So, this arm lock attack is the advanced version of the spin from the back. You have one where you're on the back and you're going to spin and take it. You attack the neck. Where they don't expect it, the other is you're going to take that arm right off the bat. You attack the arm from the back position. Don't even worry about the choke. And go straight to rip that arm out. It's shoulder and arm lock. DVD 5 now is all the attacks submission. DVD 5 is all the submission attacks from every position. Mama. What I'll start out with now is all the attacks from every position that I can use the fist choke in. And we'll start out by adding the fist choke in all different positions. No. Ready? And action. The next fixed choke, okay? Okay?
Fish choke.
Okay, this is what I refer to as the triangle fist choke, and the reason you're going to use this is because you get your arm. There are a few ways we're going to attack the arm lock from the guard. Ready? Go. Okay, next attack is straight arm from cross body. That was the last one. The next attack.
This is still fist choke. You don't have to change it.
You don't have to change it. Okay.
Roll.
Liver.
Okay, ready? You stink. You stink. You little stinker. Red, Stimpy.
I just.
You stink. Huh? Stinky Gatami. I mean, Casey Gatami.
Get. Ready?
This by far is one of the most useful parts of training that you can do. It just really emphasizes your creativity and your ability to express yourself. That is of the utmost importance. Go. The first technique I'd like to teach comes from the pogo pool stick. It's got a good beer cooler or soda cooler here on the end for you kids. It's flimsy enough not to hurt you, but it stings a little bit. I like to put a bag glove on at the same time because the two together, well, this is kind of a flimsy ouch that kind of stings, but you can always poke in a hard right cross in here. So the two together, you can get a good one. So draw your weapon. Okay, so technique one is from here. I'm just going to come up. I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to backhand. Notice the backhand. Backhand starts from my left side on camera, my right side for real, and it whacks. Now, notice the stinging effect, the sound that it makes on my partner's head. Okay, now I can go here. That's more the neck, or I can take the leg. So the re-counter would be to get hit the same way. Now, when it starts to sting, that really will emphasize this right hand here. So when we start out,
Touch sticks.
we just really, see, notice I have the flimsy end and I'm being nice, but then notice how that right hand is always up and ready to rock and roll. Oh, now it's more even. What do you know? I got a hammer on the end. Bonus round. This is because Jeremy was a very, very, very bad boy. He now has to put a bucket on his head.